In the grand tapestry of life, our time is not just a minute spent, it is an investment in our existence. Each moment we experience is like currency that we exchange for experiences and events. That is why the company we choose and the friendships we maintain are not accidental. They shape the trajectory of our journey. Think of life as a vast space in which each person is an island unto themselves, and friendships are the bridges that connect these separate worlds. However, the absence of friendships is not just a void. It can be the hidden architect of invisible barriers that erode trust and change the landscape of our relationships. The impact of this void echoes throughout our lives, influencing the quality of our connections and determining the path we take. It is worth emphasizing that a small circle of friends is not always a problem. Some people prefer calm waters, where the waves are rare but deep. However, when loneliness becomes a looming shadow, when the absence of friends brings more anxiety than peace, it may be a call for change. We must understand that the number of friends does not determine their quality. A few sincere and deep connections can be more meaningful than dozens of superficial ones. In this study, we dive into the complex dynamics of the lack of friendships, examining their roots and consequences. We touch on the subtle dance of trust and its impact on our relationships in order to not only analyze the problem, but also to find practical solutions. The goal is not only understanding, but also a Stoic expedition in search of the wisdom of ancient philosophies to build strong bridges that lead to authentic and deep connections. Join us as we unravel the threads that connect mistrust with the lack of friendship. We will delve into these complex topics, hoping to offer insights that go beyond theoretical musings, opening up concrete paths for those seeking to overcome loneliness and build strong and sincere relationships. Let this journey be a stepping stone to personal growth and social skills, offering a light of hope and guidance to illuminate our path. Stay tuned to the end of the video to dive into this process and discover not only insight, but practical tools for navigating the complex terrain of human relationships. Before we dive into the details, please like this post to support the spread of Stoicism. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the bell to stay updated on new videos. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. Lesson 1. Shyness or introversion. For many, shyness or introverted tendencies present unique challenges to building and maintaining friendships. However, Stoicism offers a unique and powerful approach to overcoming these obstacles, turning shyness into a path of self-discovery and personal growth. At the core of Stoic teachings is the valuable insight of self-acceptance, the recognition that some people are naturally shy or introverted. This awareness becomes an important part of embracing our nature. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius emphasize that true transformation begins with accepting and understanding who we are. By accepting shyness as a temporary part of our journey, we open the door to deep self-awareness. Stoicism, with its emphasis on the power of the present moment, encourages us to focus on what is within our immediate control. Socially, this means not allowing worries about an uncertain future or regrets about the past to hold us back. Freed from the shackles of fear, we can act authentically in the present without fear of possible outcomes. Shyness is often rooted in a fear of judgment from others. Stoics like Seneca show us the way through empathy, advising us to imagine ourselves in the shoes of others. Recognizing that everyone has their own internal struggles and insecurities frees us from self-absorption, creating space for more authentic and compassionate interactions. The focus shifts from how we are perceived to genuine empathy for others and their experiences. Stoicism offers the valuable insight that the true goal in friendship is the process, not the outcome. When seeking to make friends, the Stoic focuses on the possibility of interaction rather than on being accepted or rejected. This shift in perspective eases the pressures associated with shyness, paving the way for a more relaxed and open attitude toward building connections. In this way, Stoicism becomes a compass, guiding us through the maze of shyness towards self-discovery, authentic connections, and personal growth. Not only are these strategies for overcoming shyness, but also a philosophy that transforms social interactions into meaningful and enriching moments in life. Lesson 2. Lack of social opportunities. When we find ourselves in an environment where social opportunities are scarce, whether it's isolation, a busy work schedule, or perhaps the limitations of external circumstances, it can lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation. Stoicism offers a unique perspective on this. Rather than lamenting the inability to make friends, Stoics encourage us to find value in solitude and the rare encounters we can afford. This philosophy reminds us that before we seek to find others, it's important to connect with ourselves, transforming solitude into a resource. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote about the power of introspection and solitude. He argued that each of us has an inner citadel, a place where we can find refuge and peace, regardless of external conditions. In this space, we can strengthen our inner resources and tune ourselves to a productive mindset, developing self-respect and self-esteem. This solitude becomes not a barrier, but an opportunity to deepen our connection with ourselves and find inner balance. When circumstances limit our social opportunities, Stoic wisdom advises us to focus our energy on developing personal qualities such as tolerance, insight, and self-discipline. These qualities, in addition to personal development, create the foundation for future relationships. Think of it as cultivating a garden. Perhaps no one sees the blossoming of your efforts yet, but when the right person comes along, they will be able to see the fruits of your labor. Stoicism teaches us to find value even in the seeming absence of social activity, because every moment spent on self-development brings us closer to more meaningful and deep relationships in the future. Acceptance of current circumstances. Stoics, like Seneca, teach us to accept circumstances that we cannot change. This could be working alone, time constraints, or even physical distance from social circles. Rather than fighting against it, the Stoic seeks to make the most of such conditions. Stoicism encourages us to find meaning and joy in each moment, recognizing that life is a series of changes and that even in solitude we can grow and prepare for future meaningful encounters. Developing empathy and tolerance. Often in situations of limited social interaction, Stoics suggest focusing on developing empathy and tolerance. These qualities allow us to better understand others when social opportunities do arise. Seneca, for example, recommended focusing on understanding human nature in order to perceive people as they are. This way, when opportunities for communication arise, we can act from a position of understanding and tolerance, which will make our connections stronger and more sincere. Lesson 3. Learning to forgive. One of the major reasons for the breakdown of relationships is the inability to forgive. Stoicism reminds us that no one is perfect. Mistakes are a natural part of human life, and even our closest friends can disappoint us. Stoics, like Epictetus, argued that our happiness depends not on external events, but on how we respond to them. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but evidence of inner strength and understanding. Practice forgiveness and acceptance. Stoicism encourages us to reconsider our expectations of others, to learn to accept people as they are and not as we want them to be. When a person lets us down, instead of holding a grudge, a Stoic suggests looking at the situation through the prism of compassion and understanding. Perhaps the person is struggling with their own problems and made a mistake not because of malice, but because of human weakness. The ability to forgive frees us from the burden of negativity and allows us to remain in harmony with ourselves, regardless of the behavior of others. Lesson 4. Authenticity in relationships. In today's society, where social media can create the illusion of closeness and popularity, it is important to remember the value of genuine, sincere relationships. Stoicism teaches us to avoid superficial relationships and to value those relationships that truly add meaning to our lives. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be true to yourself first." This means that when we interact with others, we should remain true to our values and not try to be someone else for the sake of approval. Maintaining authenticity. When we approach relationships with authenticity, it allows others to be more honest and open with us. Building relationships based on authenticity not only builds trust, but also creates a space where we feel accepted for who we are. It frees us from the pressure to live up to others' expectations and allows for deeper, more authentic interactions. Accepting our flaws and being open to growth. Accepting your flaws and being open to growth. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of accepting your weaknesses and flaws. They teach us to see ourselves honestly, admit our mistakes, and learn from them. When we are open to personal growth, we become more attractive to others, because people sense sincerity and are willing to trust someone who is committed to self-development. Lesson 5. Tolerance for the flaws of others. We often find it difficult to tolerate the imperfections of others. The Stoics teach us to be patient and understanding with the flaws of others because none of us are perfect. For example, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that people around us may act unreasonably or make mistakes, and this is natural. In his opinion, it is important not to judge, but to find ways to maintain inner peace despite the actions of others. Practice tolerance and understanding. Instead of getting irritated or disappointed in people, the Stoics suggest accepting the flaws of others as a given. This doesn't mean we have to agree with everything, but understanding the nature of human weaknesses allows us to be patient and avoid unnecessary conflicts. When we accept people as they are, it strengthens our relationships and creates an atmosphere of mutual respect. Training in inner peace. Stoicism teaches us to control our reactions rather than trying to change others. This idea is supported by Epictetus's assertion that true freedom is freedom from emotional reactions to external circumstances. We cannot force others to be better, but we can change our attitude toward their shortcomings. By practicing calm and tolerance, we protect ourselves from unnecessary negative emotions, which allows us to maintain emotional balance and strengthen our inner fortitude. Lesson 6. The importance of time alone. The Stoics highly valued time alone, considering it necessary for introspection and strengthening the spirit. In today's busy world, it is easy to forget the importance of solitude, but Stoic wisdom reminds us that without time for reflection and rest, it is difficult to maintain inner balance. For Marcus Aurelius, such moments were necessary to clear the mind and return to one's values. Practice self-reflection and inner growth. Moments of solitude give us the opportunity to examine our actions, thoughts, and goals. Stoics suggest using such moments to analyze our actions, understand our mistakes, and identify areas for personal growth. Self-reflection helps us see which areas need attention and how we can become more mindful and calm in the future. Overcoming inner chaos. Seneca often wrote that peace of mind is the key to a happy life. Time spent alone allows us to organize our thoughts, get rid of internal conflicts, and come to harmony with ourselves. This state of inner peace allows us to better cope with life's challenges and find solutions to even the most difficult situations. Stoicism teaches us to find joy in simplicity and clarity of mind, which is achieved through self-reflection and regular time alone. Lesson 7. Controlling emotions. Managing your emotions is one of the key Stoic teachings. Emotions such as anger, fear, or envy often lead to impulsive actions that we later regret. The Stoics teach that by controlling our emotions, we control our lives. Epictetus emphasized that our reactions to events are our choice, and it is we who decide how to respond to external stimuli. Practice of emotional stability. The Stoics suggest that we ask ourselves questions before reacting to strong emotions. For example, Epictetus advised us to think, "It is not this that is bothering you, but your attitude towards it." It is important to understand that emotions do not always reflect reality, and that a calm attitude towards events allows us to make more balanced decisions. By developing the ability to control ourselves, we learn to avoid emotional outbursts and focus on a more constructive approach to problem solving, freeing ourselves from the influence of negative emotions. Stoicism teaches us not to suppress emotions, but to observe them and understand them. Rather than allowing anger or fear to control us, Stoics suggest that we view them as temporary states that we can let go of. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings, but rather acknowledging them without letting them dictate our actions. Releasing the grip of negative emotions helps us stay calm and confident in the most difficult situations, making us more resilient and wise. Lesson 8. Recognizing our mortality. Recognizing that our lives are finite is an important aspect of Stoicism. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca argued that reflecting on death helps us better appreciate the value of life and each moment we are given. This practice, called memento mori, reminds us that everything is temporary and helps us focus on what is really matters. Living in the present. Memento mori teaches us to appreciate every moment and not to put off what matters. The Stoics believe that awareness of mortality allows us to act here and now, without worrying about the future or wasting time on insignificant things. When we remember the finiteness of life, we become more focused, grateful, and purposeful. Overcoming the fear of death. For many people, the fear of death becomes an obstacle to living a full life. The Stoics teach us to accept death as a natural part of existence that should not be feared. This awareness frees us from fear and allows us to enjoy each day. As Seneca said, we should live each day as if it were our last. This perspective helps us free ourselves from unnecessary worries and direct our energy to creating meaningful and valuable moments. Lesson 9. Accepting the inevitable. The Stoics believe that much of our suffering comes from trying to change things that are beyond our control. This leads to frustration and inner conflict. Acceptance of the inevitable, according to the Stoics, is the key to achieving peace. We cannot control external circumstances, but we can control our reactions to them. Epictetus emphasized that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our attitude towards them. Practice of acceptance and inner peace. When we face difficulties, it's important to ask ourselves, can I change this? If the answer is no, the Stoics suggest accepting the situation as it is and focusing on what we can do within our control. For example, if something is out of our control at work or in a relationship, we can choose not to worry about it, but to direct our energy to something constructive. This helps us not to waste time on fruitless reflection and more quickly return to a state of inner peace, confronting uncontrollable circumstances. Accepting the inevitable is not passivity, but a way to be active where it is really needed. When we understand that not everything is under our control, we free ourselves from the feeling of helplessness and become more resilient to stress. This teaches us to adapt and find ways to harmony, even in the most difficult situations, without losing our composure. Lesson 10. Gratitude for the present. Gratitude is an important practice in Stoicism that helps us appreciate what we have instead of focusing on shortcomings or desires. Stoics believe that cultivating gratitude allows us to enjoy life, even if it is far from ideal. Marcus Aurelius recommended starting each day with gratitude for life and for the opportunity to be better. Gratitude practice. A daily gratitude practice is an easy way to realize the value of life. Stoics advise taking the time to mentally thank for small joys and successes, for the people around us, and for the personal growth we make. This approach strengthens our attitude towards life and allows us to feel inner peace, even when there are problems around us, freeing ourselves from envy and discontent. Gratitude helps us focus on what we already have, rather than on what we want. This principle frees us from envy and discontent, which often darken our lives. When we stop comparing ourselves to others and accept our uniqueness, we will find true happiness. Stoics suggest replacing complaints with gratitude, which helps maintain a positive attitude even in difficult times. Lesson 11. The value of friendship and relationships. While Stoics strive for self-sufficiency, they also recognize the enormous value of friendship and support from others. Stoics believe that true friends inspire us and help us grow. Marcus Aurelius, despite his self-sufficiency, valued his friends and supported them, finding in them a source of support and inspiration. Practice of building strong connections. Stoicism teaches us to choose friends and environments that will support our growth and positive development. By practicing honesty, empathy, and support in relationships, we create connections that not only bring joy, but also help us become better people. Stoics believe that true friendship is not just about communication, but about mutual support and assistance on the path to wisdom and virtue. Mutual enrichment through communication. So relationships help us develop qualities such as tolerance and kindness. Stoics advise showing care and attention to friends, making them part of our path to personal growth. The inspiration and support we receive from relationships enrich us and help us achieve more. Friendship is not just a social interaction, but an important part of spiritual and moral growth. Lesson 12. The principle of minimalism and simplicity. Stoics believe that true happiness does not depend on material goods. They suggest practicing minimalism, getting rid of excesses, and focusing on what is really important. This approach helps to reduce attachment to things and focus on spiritual development and simple joys. Practice minimalism. Liberation from material attachments gives freedom and peace. Stoics suggest thinking about what things are really necessary for a happy life, and to refuse excesses that only create unnecessary worries and anxieties. Minimalism helps to focus on true goals and values, leaving only what brings joy and harmony. Freedom from material shackles. Stoics emphasize that material things in themselves do not bring happiness. Liberation from dependence on material values allows us to maintain clarity of mind and inner harmony. It teaches us to find joy in simple things, such as time with loved ones, nature, or personal achievements. Minimalism is not about giving up everything, but choosing what has true meaning for our happiness. Conclusion: applying Stoicism in life. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a whole way of life that teaches us to be resilient, wise, and happy despite all the difficulties and changes. Practicing Stoic principles helps us find inner peace and self-confidence, manage emotions, and build harmonious relationships with others. Results and further development of Stoicism. The philosophy of Stoicism continues to attract attention in the modern world as its principles are relevant in conditions of high uncertainty and stress. This approach to life helps us remain strong and resilient despite the chaos around us. Stoicism inspired not only ancient Roman philosophers, but also modern thinkers and leaders who have found in it practical wisdom for solving personal and social problems. Modern influence of Stoicism. Today, we are seeing a growing interest in Stoicism in such fields as psychology, business, and personal development. The basic principles of Stoicism are often applied in cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people cope with negative thoughts and emotions, as well as in the practice of mindfulness. Stoicism is also popular among entrepreneurs and leaders, as it teaches you to remain calm and determined even under high pressure. How to incorporate Stoicism into your daily life? You can start by taking small steps to incorporate Stoicism into your life. For example, regularly reflecting on what is in your control and accepting the inevitable can help reduce stress. Stoics recommend daily meditation and reflection, reviewing your day and evaluating your reactions to events. This can be done in writing or simply in your mind, focusing on the achievements and lessons you have learned. Continuous improvement through Stoicism. The Stoics believed that philosophy is a continuous self-development, so you should not strive for instant results. It is a path that requires patience and determination. The main thing is to move forward and improve yourself, despite mistakes and difficulties. It is also important to be kind and understanding to yourself, acknowledging your weaknesses and striving for constant growth. Wisdom and resilience are key aspects of the Stoic approach. By practicing Stoicism, you will gradually strengthen your inner state and learn to remain calm in the most difficult circumstances. This does not mean that difficulties will disappear, but you will be prepared for them and will be able to overcome them with clarity and strength. The Stoics believed that the most important thing is not what happens to us, but how we react to it. With this approach, you can strengthen your inner state and create a harmonious and fulfilling life filled with meaning and peace. Final words. Stoicism teaches us to accept life as it is and to strive for wisdom and virtue, finding peace in the present moment. By applying Stoic principles in our daily lives, we can gain resilience and strength that will help us overcome any challenges. Stoicism is the path to true freedom, inner peace, and harmony with ourselves and the world.